let my hand go. Because I hate to stop the poem to say, we got to go out back now. Get the hell out of it. No, I'm just joking. You win. You got to know when to lose. I know when I'm losing. So, coming up first, please put your hands together for Lisa Mercer. Give it up for Lisa Mercer.
My stage name is Sugar Bee because I believe that we feed those whom we love. Yeah, I'm sure you can tell I love myself. This piece is called Sunday Dinner Love. I want a Sunday dinner kind of love. I want a macaroni and cheese love with extra loving oozing over the side kind of love. I want gooey, sticky, cheesy love that appreciates and works my macaroni. Let her know. I want collard greens and smoked turkey wings love. Eating with your fingers, tasting hot sauce and just enough grease to slide down love. I want picnic ham with orange marmalade love. Salty, sweet at the same time kind of love. Make you want to lick your fingers and smack your lips kind of love. I want cornbread dressing love. Sage, spicy, hot, crispy, warm and burned, slightly mushy kind of love. I want peach iced tea love. Cool and sweet and tart, icy ecstasy sliding down your throat kind of love. And to top it off, I want homemade ice cream love. So sweet and creamy. Let me indulge in all your homegrown goodness. Are you hungry yet? I am. All right.
My mind, my strength was gone. Everything in my life.
This poem is called I Am Not a Poet. It's called I Am Not a Poet. I am not a poet. If I were a poet, I could say I love you in a way that causes your heart to skip a beat. Lyrical computations with a 1, 2 beats. I'm not a poet. If I were a poet, I could wrap my arms around you and we would dance like we did that special time. Our feelings, our unique rhythms blending into a special two-step. Divine. I'm not a poet. If I were a poet, you could feel what I feel when our brown eyes meet. You are eye candy, sensuously too sweet. I'm not a poet. If I were a poet, I could describe your figure without ever mentioning your breasts, your waist, your thighs. I could express what I see when I see within my inner eyes. But I am not a poet. If I were a poet, my sensuous verse would not be called oral pornography. My words could paint a picture that was so detailed it would be more detailed than digital photography. I'm not a poet. If I were a poet, my words would inspire love, not legal stoics, politics of poetry, where people would not vote Democrat, Republican, but poet. I am not a poet. If I were a poet, I would call for a revolution of the masses, putting down guns, picking up pens, building armies of lyrical assassins. I am not a poet. If I were a poet, one-liners I would quit. The Statue of Liberty is a prostitute and Uncle Sam's a pimp. I am not a poet. If I were a poet, I would spit little black boys into black men. Stop dope pushing and liberating mental slavery from within, but I am not a poet. If I were a poet, I would prevent beautiful black girls from becoming an ugly black hoe. Searching for love by letting little boy enter special places that only her husband should know. I'm not a poet. If I were a poet, my words would have flow. Where streams and rivers and spoken word lakes and oceans would grow. I'm not a poet. If I were a poet, in my poems you could swim. On the ocean of my words you could drink every word of it. But I am not a poet. If I were a poet on my lake, you wouldn't even need a boat, because you could walk on my truth. And if you were afraid to walk, you could still float. I'm not a poet. No, I'm not. God is the poet. In the beginning, God spoke and things happened. That's poetry. His sheer words created heaven and earth. That's poetry. God is a poet. His words penetrating darkness, moon, stars, night, day, ending each verse. What did he say? It was evening, morning, the first day. God is the poet. Rhythm and meter, each verse is the same way. It was evening and morning, the second day, the third day, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth day. God is a poet. God is a poet in his words. Carved mountains, his breath grew wood. He looked at his poetic creation and said to himself, this is good. God is a poet. God is a poet, and he inspires me to become a better me. Not just me, but better with him inside of me. God is a poet. God is a poet. Wait a second. Could it be the greatest poet who ever lives inside of me? That's right. God is a poet. Dwells in my heart. This I know is true. So that by his grace,
Came crashing down. I felt so all alone. Now I'm looking at
Well, I have nothing to do. And I just walk around heaven all day. Now when I get to heaven, I'm gonna jump and shout, yeah. Nobody will be able to put me out. 'Cause I'm going to a place where I have nothing to do, and I'll just walk around heaven all day. Can you hear me praying?
Jesus. Oh, what will I?
Voice and sing as Afro angels descend from heaven, eating chocolate-covered chicken wings, singing amazing praise as there is no order to this chaotic place that my people bled for. And even though this is the promised land and we don't receive the promise, I promise you that the promises we were promised will be held accountable from the cradle to the grave, and these were the last words of the hanging slave as Afro angels singing Black Banner Spangles carried his soul to a better land. I didn't choose this life chose me from the willing nature of the past and modern slavery. And even though I try to be optimistic, somewhere along the line we've gotten this thing twisted. Now brothers hanging on the corners my grandfather's age, pants leg rolled up, throwing up juice trays, bases, cracked out, front teeth missing, no zest for life, geeked up. Now listen to the sound of the men working on the chain gang. All right. What's the song written for blacks who picked up pistols, taking classes?
To now, I want to trust you, but I just don't know.
Song I wrote is called Hurricane.
So what you're saying is, when I take this medicine, I can't drink. And she was like, no, for the duration of you taking this medicine, you can't drink. And I was like, you keep this medicine. Go ahead. So I went through this period when I wasn't drinking. And everybody wants to know what it was like when I wasn't drinking. I told them that it was sober. And in this moment of sobriety, I've been able to look past your eyes and see the angel on the inside. And just from the way that your eyes blink, I can tell that your heart is beating too fast. Slow down, love. As if we're two secret agent spies against the world, I want to pull you close to synchronize our pulse, so that when we are apart, we live like to the same rhythm. And if you choose not to accept this mission, then this message will self-destruct, because no other woman can play your part, no other woman can fill your role because you're special. No lie. You're the type for which I would die. Lord, good well, you probably wouldn't let me try, because your life makes mine worth the living, and as long as you are allowed to feel like a god. In fact, I want to be your god. I want to be your sun, you can be my moon, or better yet, you can be my earth, and like Mother Nature, you can give birth to all my creation in time. I want to be your god. I want to break down the walls of Jericho. I want to spread your red seas. I want to be the sweet communion of the Holy Spirit that rests ruler and abide between the two of us. You see, because I want to know you. I want to know you in ways that you don't even know yourself. I want to know you to the point that you know me better than I even know me. I want us to know each other so well that sometimes when people call my name, resolve and your resilience. I'm gonna stay up late at night until the wee hours of the morning, coming up with diabolical schemes and plans of a mastermind of ways that I can cheat on you with the only woman I ever cheat on you with. You. Say I want you to be my missus and my mistress. I want every little thing we do to stay between me and you. I want our affair to be an affair of the heart. I want you to take my last name and make it yours. You see, because this ain't a poem. This is a love that left on the pillow after the night we know hope will last forever. This is a love story. A love story sung in the key of spoken word. A love story that has no ending because we have the power to hold an everlasting. You've never count the grains of sand and count the ways that I love you. You've never looked to the heavens and measured the distance between the stars and to measure how much you mean to me. This is a love song. A love song that has no ending. And as long as you and I make us, then trust me, we'll sing this song in two-part harmony. Everyone wants to know what it's like when I'm not drinking. And I tell them that it's so. And in this moment of sobriety, the one thing that I realize is that I love you. Y'all give it up for Alan one more time. Y'all still doing good? All right, so.
And right before I threw in the towel, God turned it and gave me beauty for ashes.
I used to be so broken, lost, empty. Heart with no beat, a singer with no song to sing. So I know the feeling, the silence is deafening. But in your pain lies a blessing, sweet and sour victory. So
All right, be great. Greatness is in you.
I went to Meridianite High School, played football, was in the band, ran track, got in a little trouble every now and then with this dude right there up our field. That was deep. But I've been able, after leaving, I went to Jackson State, graduated. I graduated or I went to Jackson State. You know, both on good feet. But I've always been able to write and do poetry and spoken word, and I've traveled around the country, and I feel real good right now because this is the first time in 15 years of doing this that I've actually featured right here in New York. He was like, hey, I want you to come, and I was like, they ain't never asked me to come. He's asked me for now. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Fate was like, don't come. Because I had a ticket to get here, to fly here. And then that got messed up. So then they put me on standby. Then that got messed up. And then it started storming. And they canceled all the flights. But where there's a rental car, there's a way. So I got in the rental car and was like, hey, I done drove in the rain before. And we're here. So I'm just happy to be here. Y'all give it up for that. Every summer, my son Jonathan comes and hangs out with my dad. Any of you go out there, Jonathan? So he's the inspiration for a lot of the work that I do, because I deserve an award too, if you deserve an award. Because Jonathan sometimes. So when my son Jonathan learned how to walk, he kept bumping his head on the table over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I'm like, damn! My son is retarded. Only for someone to explain to me that it's not retarded, it's just that little children don't have depth perception. And I'm sitting in poetry venues watching people leave just as empty as they came. We proclaim that this is supposed to be like church. And if what we do is God's work, then the job of the poet is to teach you where your preacher can't reach you. But unfortunately, too many poets sound retarded, or at least they don't have any depth perception. They refuse to scratch the surface and dig deep and hear something that means something. I mean, they'd rather regurgitate the same fact you get off the 6 o'clock news, or what you live in your own life blues. They do this for the odds and the oohs, or maybe for a high score, when they evaluate what they're up in for, because we the people need more. We need solutions, or at least a way to get by. But most poets just write well enough to get by. We need to move away from the microphone so the rest of us can get by, because man, they sound retarded. So upon this mic, I shall build my church. And the gates of bad poetry and the gates of a bad poet shall not prevail against it, because this mic is sacred. Has no room for animosity, greed, or hatred. Because there's a woman in here tonight that at home she got bills, kids, and maybe a man in for 24/7. Her life is in demand, and although she's under some type of psychological, financial, or physical abuse, although she knows her father's ain't one of a kind, she just got some things that's on her mind for the 3 to 5 minutes that she's at this mic, maybe the most freedom that she may ever take. And I bet that there's a man here tonight, and at home he ain't in control. And all of his life he's had to do what he's told. And in work he has to work by their rules, and in society he has to live by society's rules. And although he knows his poetry is the best, he just got some stuff he needs to get up off his chest. And for the 3 to 5 minutes that he's at this mic, maybe the most freedom that he may ever have. So regardless if he or she makes you cry or laugh, 9 times out of 10 they're just wishing that someone will listen. And when no one will, open mic is here to lend an ear for the darkest secrets and the biggest fears. So poets beware. Beware what you try to pass off as poetry. Because there's somebody in here tonight that's hanging to your every word. They're listening to your every word. Hoping that you sing a song or tell a story that they can relate to, that knows that joy and understands that pain, that sees the sunshine and feels the rain. Because a good poem is like a frost to bear. Before you got people to bury your soul and sacrifice a piece of yourself. You got to cheat your poems like sacred songs of the land. You got to be willing to show the crowd the scars in the palms of your hand. You got to allow your words to eat like a mic like fire. And this mouth when you're burning bush and this ground is hot, but you ain't got to remove your shoes. Just mic check your ego, because poetry is real for healing and no placebo. Because with our pens and pads were like gods. And in the beginning was the word, and with your words, so let your light shine. Are y'all ready for some more poetry?
For ashes.
I'm in this casual conversation with this pseudo super MC so-called hip-hop head. And somewhere off the beaten path he makes a comment that today's spoken word artists ain't nothing to yesterday's failed MCs. Rappers that couldn't rap on beat decided to go conscious because we never go platinum. And I wonder, man, if he understands the origins to his belief. Because long before there was 50 Cents and Jay-Z's, MCs were lost somewhere between the break and the beat. Because in the beginning of hip-hop, MCs were nothing but the master of ceremony. Their job was to introduce the main attraction, the DJ. Who Hurt, Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash. It was the DJ, not the MC, that was the hip-hop symbol. His job was to set the tone and make sure that the tone be nimble. And like God on the sixth day, it was the DJ that scooped up a handful of culture, molded man and fashioned the first b-boy into the image of the urban soul. Blowing into his lungs the breath of life, calling in hip-hop and declaring like that was fresh. So respect to how a DJ places the needle to the record, I place my pen to the pad like the God Osiris. I produce and I create. Holding my pen so tight it begins to fixate. Throwing up poems that sound like a DJ's mixtape. And I know you hear the Rakim influence, but I'm here to feel the DJ earthly essence, because without Jazzy Jeff, there'll be no Fresh Prince. And to all my MC friends, please take no offense, but just because most applause goes and ours, I pause and be like, oh man, no, y'all. I'd rather be your DJ. And while you wonder what he play, I want to stand at the mic like it's 2 turntables and a mixer, spinning verbs and words that conjure up your favorite elixir. And I can give you something new to get the party started. I can give you something old and Jurassic. Reach back into my crates and pull out a classic. Because the same way your favorite DJ plays many records and flow it like it's just one song, I want to say many words and flow it like it's just one poem. And regardless of your system, we ain't got no poems, because we're compatible with them all. We can do 8 tracks, cassettes, 78s, 33s, EPs, LPs, CDs, please, we got these. I mean, the same way your favorite song calls you to the dance floor, I want your favorite poem to beckon you to action. I want to get 2 words into my spit and you feel the beat and be like, ah, that's my hit. I mean, I want my words to dance with your pain and your pleasure. Feel like there's a poem living inside your head. You at work tomorrow telling your coworkers that last night a poet saved my life with the words he said. Because every time I get down, I want you to feel good about getting up. Make you throw your arms in the air like you just been stuck up. Make you snap your fingers and tap your feet and clap your hands and do your dance. Because lyrically and poetically, I don't want to be your MC, I want to be your DJ. I want to be your Funk Master Flex, your DJ Clue, your Kid Capri, your Jam Master J. When I'm done, you're like, that DJ made my day. But on completion of her surgery, the physician made mention of the issue of an inner scar tissue, which was evidence of at least one unreported heart attack. And at that, she even questioned heart attack. Said she thought she just had a bad case of the hiccups, and if she would just be still and hold her breath and listen to God, everything would be okay. Kind of like when she was 4 or 6, not really sure because only time knows her real age. Living a life between slavery and sharecropping in a house where the foundation was no stronger than her father's 2 hands. It had to be the autumn or the spring when a summer breeze tangled with the winter wind and in the Mississippi sky twisted a tornado that reached down and destroyed every crop. And just as easy as you would pop the top to the aluminum can, it tore the roof off the house and blew out all the walls and scattered all the furniture, but didn't touch not one of the 9 souls that sat, kneeling, being still, holding their breath, and listening to God. I kind of like when she left her home, family in Mississippi for the first time for Chicago, her husband, and the perception of a better life, just to be sent back pregnant and alone until he made enough money to join her. I like when her son had his first asthma attack with no inhaler, no pump, no crown team mist, just a brown paper bag, and her faith in him being still and holding his breath and listening to God, and that becomes her answer, her antidote to the Great Depression, World War II, civil rights, Jim Crow, Vietnam, failed crops, job stops, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, Gulf War, Twin Towers, poverty, wealth, sickness, and health, just being still and holding a breath and listening to God, just being still and holding a breath and listening to God, just being still and holding a breath and listening to God, just still holding a breath. God, still holding God. Hiccups. And as I held her frail aged body, I felt the warmth and the strength of her soul as I told her that she looked good. Only for her to answer bullshit, boy. I done got old. And as we both laughed, I looked down upon her silver gray white hair and noticed how the waves gradually blend with the wrinkles in her forehead. Receiving the tracks of a vinyl record, each space representing a groove that sings a life song that can only be sung by the one that's doing the living. And I remember the songs. And I think back over the stories. And I think back over my own life, the times when I've had emergencies with no plans, or the times I've been caught in the midst of the storm, or the times when I've had heartache that I thought were nothing but the hiccups. Think back to the hiccups in your own life. And just be still, hold your breath, and shh, grandma.